Let's take a look at the next drill in our butterfly series. So this is going to be a rock skip drill with a flutter kick. Now, the main purpose of this drill is to really focus on the connection of the breath while providing some consistent propulsion so that the body is just going to be moving forward. In a later progression of this drill, you'll be able to see a rock skip with a butterfly kick, but this will really kind of help give a visualization and allow the athlete to really focus more on taking that breath and then getting the body to get back into the water. Remember here, as a basic, we want to think about fly here as this up and forward movement. Up and then getting forward. Butterfly used to kind of be thought about like this, or sometimes we see age group or developmental swimmers kind of doing this loopy butterfly, meaning we have a peak, a valley, and then so on and so on. We actually, again, want to kind of think about fly again as this flat stroke, that it's more up and forward. And timing of that breath is really, really critical to being able to get a great connection for the stroke here overall. So let's take a look at those key elements. We'll start out here, just again, flutter kick. We want to see toes pointed, which we have right there because of the fins here, just also nice and pointed. We would only want our athletes to do about a moderate kick. Again, the main purpose of the kick is just to help keep the body to move forward. We really want to focus more on what's happening up here. That doesn't mean we want to neglect the kick. So just remember that we want to also be looking for that natural bend in the knee that occurs during the kick. Now, what do we mean by natural? So here the legs are straight. Okay, so if the legs are just going to be kind of kicking at this point like this, we're going to be generating a lot of power, a lot of quick bursts of energy, but it's not really sustainable for a really long period. Same thing if we were just kind of having flexion in that knee and approaching, and this is a very extreme, this 90-degree mark right here. If we would kick back and forth, all we would be able to get is just kicking air, making some contact with the water. Now, the same holds true here under the body. If we're kind of drawing those knees into the body, again, creating that 90-degree mark, you're going to be kicking up and down, making a lot of turbulence at the surface, but we're not really going to be getting anywhere. So just make sure you're going to be focusing on that natural bend. So here, as that foot is at its most upward spot, we'd want to make sure that we're telling our athletes and giving them that cue to think about kicking this ball that's under them as they're performing their swim and their kick here, and making that contact, meaning that foot is going to end up a little bit here under the body. That's quite all right. The important thing to remember is that they get it back up to return to the surface. Let's go up here now and take a look at what's going on with at the top half. Hands here are going to be starting out in their kind of resting landing position. So meaning here for older athletes, we would want to be in that position 11 or on the shoulder. Developmental and young age groupers, it'll be all right if you are at a more of a Y position or just outside the shoulders. You're going to have to, again, kind of see what works best for your athletes. Important thing is here that the fingertips are going to start to get down, and then we're going to start to lift that head as those arms are about to pass the shoulders. So see that right there? And then we are relatively low, right? We got a little bit of height right here between the chin and the surface. Now, we're all sure at some point we've seen everybody's seen Michael Phelps, where he has this video like this from a forward view where that chin is always right along the surface of the water right here. Now that's going to be ideal about right there. If we got here, it's okay, but that would just kind of indicate we're going a little bit more upward. So we want to be nice and low. And another important aspect of this drill is to remember is to get that head down. So we don't want to take that breath to be too long. Get that head down and then press. So you'll see here, shoulders go down, hips are going up. At this point here, we see shoulders up, hips down. So there's always just that inverse relationship here in that stroke. Kick again just helps us keep moving forward. After we hit that landing position, those hands should land right here by that hip area. And then what we're going to do is just recover them under the body here and just repeat, set up, and then really connect that breath. And if we're doing that right, we should kind of feel like we're going like this, skipping across the water like a rock. That's why we call it rock skip. As then we're going to transition here to going under the water. So just remember that those feet have to be pointing. So we kind of see that here and here, here and there, getting under the body. So here our athlete could actually get just a little bit deeper. And then we've got a lot of turbulence here to kind of see what is going on with the swim. On our return view here, we're going to look just again, different perspectives, same things. Here we see those arms setting up in front of the shoulders. Get those fingertips to get down. Breathe as the hands are passing the shoulders. We would want to see that we are nice and low as we are right there. Then focus on getting that head to get down. Shoulders down, hips up. As we lift up for the next one, we see then shoulders up, hips down. So there's always just, again, that inverse relationship. And then we'll take a look here at the actual catch. Okay, so here we see the athlete, great job of getting the fingertips down. We're in a very good downward position right there. What we see though is just a little bit kind of an out sweep with the arms like this. Where we are right now, just focus on drawing in and keeping those hands here under the shoulders. So kind of what we see right here is just there's this gap between the shoulder line and where the hands are. Ultimately, what we would love to see and what we want to see is just this formulation of these power triangles here under the body. Doing this will help our athletes get that best combination of speed and power, so that way we can really push the water here as we're moving through the water, finding that great balance point. So hands here absolutely should be closer to being under the shoulders. And then we're just going to return back up here in front. Overall, if you found some great value out of this, be sure to consider liking the video and subscribing. We've got a lot of drills on our channel and even more along the way.